Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Yeah, I don't need no damn countdown today. Where's all this dust coming from? Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where I'm having a dust issue. There's dust everywhere. What the hell happened in this room? Anyway, so I need to, damn, it's everywhere. I need to clean. So, hi, good morning, happy Monday. It's showtime, and I am going to fix my camera because, as usual, I just don't look as good as I want to. So I'm going to fix it and waste some time here on the thing. But I'm not wasting it with a, what do you call that? I didn't do the intro thing, whatever. So anyway, hi. There's a lot of stuff going on from the weekend, and I'm getting sick of it all. I'm getting sick of the rhetoric. I'm getting sick of the violence. And again, there's this myth that the violence is mostly from the right, which that's silly, because they only count. You know, when they do these things where they're looking at the violence, they don't count leftist violence as leftist, but they count anything remotely related to right as violence. But there's things happening that I don't want to see any side doing, and that's why the time to tone it down is the name of the theme today, just because there's some bad shit going on, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it all. So we're going to talk about that, and just as examples, and the rhetoric that it's funny because the left denies that they're doing violent rhetoric, but then I get examples of people in prominent positions doing it. So it's annoying. And, FTG to all those people who are in denial about it all. So anyway, what is this? I don't need that. I don't have any celebrity birthdays today. So anyway, let's get the show started. How about that? Let's just get the show started. That's why I didn't do a countdown, because, I want to get a lot of stuff in that I don't normally get in. First to chat today is our friend Somnambul Nation, who beat the odds, and also Avocados Diablo. Good morning. Also, speaking of which, good morning, Avocados Diablo, in the chat. Early, but not quick enough. Also, good morning, Miss Wild Wolf. Green Badger Outdoors. Lewis is in the house. What up, Louie? My other favorite Canadian, Unacceptable Views. Blue-Eyed Scream, AWOL, Mike Savage, Blarg, John Arnott, and Cashapp. Good morning, Kirsten. Obviously, when I start the show, almost immediately after clicking the button, people get in here not as quickly. So I have a little bit of filler to fill up the time to let people get in. And while you're figuring out, if you enjoy the filler, click the like buttons. If you enjoy the show, click the like button. If I do something finally to make you happy, click the like button, and let's get that ratio up. It helps the show a little bit. And somebody new comes here every once in a while. Also, good morning, Willie. Willie is in a chat. Okay, so let's get the fluff stuff out of the way. How about that? Let's do that. Also, by the way, if you're not following me on Locals, I'm going to start writing articles again, I think, if I have time. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to fit in all the stuff that I want to do. I have so many things in my mind, and some of them are so time consuming. It's hard because I still work at EPS, still got my other job. I do lots of stuff. And so trying to squeeze some things in is a challenge. Plus, I love having a relationship with my wife. And, that sometimes takes precedence. Mostly takes precedent over everything. So I don't get a lot of time to do stuff, but I'm going to try to do more. I'm going to try. We'll see. Anyway, the special day today. Today is a special day. What is all this crap? What the hell is that? What is that? I don't need that. What is this? Oh, there we go. I got it back on. Today is the 250th anniversary of the the United States Navy. United States Navy. Someone who said, I've just seen them. Oh my God. Oh, wow. This is weird. I have just seen the most disrespectful act from the U.S. Navy in the Navy in Norfolk, Virginia. There's a live celebration for their 250th anniversary. I attached our 4 pics during the national anthem. Not one Navy seaman is saluting, but there's one civilian who's in the front row. Is this the reason? I think the reason they're not saluting, well, they have their lids off. That's strange that none of the Navy, maybe there's a protocol that they don't salute during the no, they're supposed to salute during the national anthem. What the hell? Is it a protest? I don't know. I have no idea. Also, the person saluting should have their hat off, I think, protocol wise. Anyway, that's not what I want to do. I was just like, here, there's a little blurb here from X. Trump mixes Navy tributes, boasts, and partisan attacks at the 250th Navy anniversary. President Donald Trump spoke to sailors aboard the USS George H.W. Bush in Norfolk, Virginia on October 5th, 2025, during the U.S. Navy's 250th anniversary celebration amid a government shutdown. He praised the Navy's history, pledged military funding to pay support, but included debunked claims about warnings of Obama, Osama bin Laden before 9/11, and called Democrats and that needing to be taken care of. Defense Secretary not see, this is the problem with X and using these grok generated posts. Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth rejected diversity as strength, emphasizing unity of purpose instead. So anyway, and that's the other part that came out, and I want to show you something, because a lot of the people on the left are making this claim that Pete Hegseth. Well, he did say that he said diversity is not our strength, right? And that's because they didn't let him finish a sentence. So here is dickhead David Hogg posting this. He says, not only is it, first of all, Aaron Rupar, he's the propagandist, leftist propagandist, who makes this headline right here: Hegseth to the Navy. Your diversity is not your strength. That's all he did. So basically, what he's doing is trying to get a sensational way to put a headline, and a lot of people are parroting. He said that diversity is not a strength. Okay. Now, listen to what he says, and see if it accurately reflects the complete thought that Pete Hegseth was making. Hello, John Arnott. How you doing? Listen to this carefully. Listen to what he says, because at least Aaron Rupar allows for the sentence to be finished. Listen to this.
Your diversity is not your strength. Your strength is your unity of purpose, your shared mission, your love of country.
Now, is that an accurate statement? Is that an accurate statement? Because the diversity has not the strength. Diversity just happens. That's not the strength. Okay, diversity happens, but that's not the strength. The unity of purpose is the strength. So the diversity does not matter when you have unity of purpose. Now, can the diversity contribute to the unity of purpose? Of course it can. I think of the Navajo code talkers, okay? They weren't contributing because of their diversity. They were contributing because of their unity of purpose of, fighting the Axis powers in World War II. The diversity just was an extra feature that because they were able to do something that nobody else was able to do, contributed to our unity of purpose. Our unity of purpose is a strength. If we did not have unity of purpose, diversity would be a disaster. If we did not have unity of purpose, diversity could be a disaster, because if you're basing what you do on diversity, you might have different goals. Diversity is a feature. Unity of purpose is our strength. So I don't think he said anything wrong there, but boy, oh boy, all the lefties are only saying that the words he said, your diversity is not your strength. It's not. And then some of these idiots down here, by the way, the whole thing with the generals a few weeks ago, I think that was a waste of time and a waste of money, because that could have been a memo, but whatever. I don't agree with everything they do, but damn, the idea that he would say diversity is not strength. Let's hear someone. Diversity isn't your strength. Haig's statement isn't just ignorance and an insult to every man and woman who ever bled in uniform in this country. No, because diversity just was a part of it, but the unity of purpose is what your strength is. 1 in 5 soldiers black, nearly 1 in 5 Hispanic, over 200,000 women served today, nearly half of military is diverse. But that's not the strength. The unity of purpose of all these diverse people are the strength. Holy shit. Marty was never a civil servant, nor a union member. Me? I am a union member. Forcefully, because you have to be a union member to work for UPS. I don't agree with my union on a lot of things, though. Diversity of options in a bar is great, but I wouldn't call it a strength. That's Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, I hear you. That's because they only care about the superficial. Yeah, they do. They do. So anyway, I'm like, but you know what? Because right now, diversity is the buzzword that they want everyone to go by. And so David Hogg, this dumbass, not only is it historically and factually inaccurate, but it also deeply responsible. From the critical role female spies played in the American Revolution to the novel Kotar's World War II, our diversity has always been and remains one of our nation's greatest strengths. No. Again, it's not. Because had those diverse people had not had the unity of purpose, their diversity would not have been used well. But we had it. Jesus Christ. Listen to what he says and not cherry pick the part that you want to criticize. So anyway. It's just one of those things that drives me nuts of how we try to change language and use language to be full of shit. And I'm sorry, that is just, trying to criticize him because he's not saying he's against diversity. Again, if you educate everyone in this country and you get everyone educated or whatever, you get everyone to a level where they can contribute to whatever they're going to do. Diversity is something that happens. You cannot force diversity. It will happen because we are naturally a diverse nation. But you cannot start at the point where you are hiring people or putting people into positions. That can't be your starting point for creating diversity. Your starting point for letting diversity happen is when kids are children. And as we've seen over the last 60, 70, 80 years, even before any of the civil rights movement, before anything, the diversity has happened because we are already a diverse nation. There are great people in many fields and many professions and many walks of life that the diversity was a natural thing. Now, artificially suppressing diversity is a bad thing because you lose the opportunity of letting the great people rise to the top. So the purpose of the civil rights movement, the purpose of, equaling playing fields is to allow all of the greatness of no matter what their supposed superficial characteristics are, rise to the top. And when you allow that, diversity naturally happens. As we see in our society everywhere we go. But it's not our strength. It certainly can contribute to greatness through allowing everyone, who at their best contribute. But the strength is unity of purpose. So I have no problem with what he just said there. As a black man. I hate when people say that shit. Anyway, enough about that. All right, let's move on. So anyway, happy 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. Other holidays today include National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day. Oh, shit. I thought that was every day. No, actually, my daughter and her husband and their family are quite self-sufficient, and I appreciate them. Also, National Noodle Day, National Mad Hatter Day. What? That's silly. National Coaches Day. Hey, if you have kids involved in sports, or whatever, if you have people that that coach, thank them for helping develop our youth. National Plus Size Appreciation Day. Oh, shit. Here we go. Oh, yeah. National Plus Size Appreciation Day. Got a lot of brothers out there appreciating that plus size ladies. It's Ancestors Day, National Child Health Day. That's important. Inbox Zero Day. Get into your goddamn email and clear that shit out. I have like 250,000 emails in one of my Gmail accounts. I should probably just empty it. National Isabella Day. Why did people get name days? World Architecture Day. Hey, Frank. I was just talking about Frank Lloyd Wright the other day. National Cerebral Palsy Day. I hope you mean awareness, not like we're celebrating it, but, National Badger Day. Everyone in Wisconsin is excited. Mysore Dasara, whatever that is. Join the grandeur of Mysore Dasara, a royal celebration filled with vibrant processions, lavish displays, and rich cultural traditions. And Navaratri Day, whatever that is. Okay, who cares? I don't know. That's some holiday that's not American. If it's not American, it ain't crap. Oh, wait, I thought that's if it's not Scottish. All right, things trending on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and newsy stuff. AMD, I normally don't care when I see the little dollar sign trading, abbreviations, but AMD rose. If you have any stock in AMD this week, you're really happy because it's up 33% over the last couple of days. Although, you know how much I hate when people lie with statistics, right? Or lie with graphs, or make graphs that are stupid. This is a stupid graph. You see this graph here? You see what I'm looking at here? That's a stupid graph. I hate when they do this, okay? They make it look like the AMD was 0. But no, the scale on this graph starts at 160. Now, granted, it's up 35%. So if you have AMD stock, it went up $67 over the last few days, right? So that's big, 160 to 227. But it's not from 0 to 227. These scales make it look terrible. But anyway, AMD, if you own AMD stock, you're a happy MFer, and that's because they have some new relationship with OpenAI. October 6, 2025, AMD and OpenAI announced a strategic multi-year partnership to deploy up to 6 gigawatts of AMD's Instinct GPUs, starting with the MI450 series on the second half of 2026. The agreement provides OpenAI priority access to AMD hardware across generations, includes warrants for up to 10% of AMD shares based on deployment milestones. In other words, they got some partnership and everyone's making money if you own AMD stock because it made their shit go crazy. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Here, let's do just one last fluff thing. Not fluff. This is important. This is important. Thank you to the people who are sharing the stream. That I almost forgot that. Let's start down here with Somnambule Nation. Thank you for sharing the stream as you always do. Oh, usually before me or very close to which, because you're very quick with the gun there. Also, Ms. Wild Wolf, thank you for dropping that link in your X feed. Green Badger Outdoors with the little fighter time up there on the Let's Go. Thank you, link. Somnambule Nation, also the Let's Go with the fist bump. You're getting into the themes just. Oh, I didn't put that on the screen. You're getting into the themes just like Reaction on Puerto Rico does. You're on theme there with the fist bump, because I had a fist bump in mine. There's the fighters. There's a couple other people sharing the stream. Appreciate that. Also, people are just retweeting mine. Ms. Wild Wolf, Christian Show, K Show, Somnambule Nation, Green Badger Outdoors, and whoever this message now has 4 followers and has been reposting my stuff every day. I appreciate it, but I can't figure out how they always happen to find my stuff. The Daily Kitties with Ms. Wild Wolf, always cute and fluffy. And then also TC, thank you for sharing the stream as you always do. I appreciate that when you're around. I like to see you. By the way, good morning, TC. I see you there. And so there we go. Appreciate all of you doing that thing. All right, other newsy stuff. The Vatican is trending. Wait, what's this? Oh, let's go back to Jane Goodall first. What the hell happened here? That's not where it's supposed to be. What was this supposed to be? Oh, that's AMD. Jane Goodall, Jane Goodall passed away the other day, and a lot of people are posting her Netflix interview. They said they did this interview with Jane Goodall, and then they waited. It was supposed to be not posted until after she passed away. And so she kind of criticized Trump and Elon Musk and some other world leaders, and that's why everyone's all Twitter paid it all about it. Good morning, Anon. 1, 2, 3. And Gunfox61, what's up? So anyway, Dr. Jane Goodall's final interview, recorded March 2025 for Netflix famous Last Words series, and released days after her death at age 91 on October 1st, covers her chimpanzee research in Tanzania's Gombe Stream National Park, threats like deforestation and species loss, and humanity's reliance on nature. She calls for maintaining hope and individual action in environmental protection, while humorously suggesting sending leaders, including Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, and Ben Netanyahu, on a spaceship. She wanted to send him into space, which Elon Musk, that's probably going to happen because, he's the spaceship dude, and I'm sure he's going to get up into space one of these times. But if you want to watch it, I haven't even watched it yet, but they've got several snippets from it on the internet. And obviously the lefties are excited. Oh, she told them to send them in deep into space. And then also don't lose hope. So if you want to watch that, it's in the links. I'm not going to play it. Thank you, Avocados Diabli, first sponsor of the day. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. And that makes you the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Who's Avocados Diabli dropping a small bowl in the tip jar saying, speaking of AI, ooh, let me see what we got here. He just sent me a link to an article from something called Wise Wolf Media, Substack. Uh-oh. What? Wait a minute. Let's look at this. Artificial intelligence just tried to commit murder. Okay. Let's see what this is. The machine didn't panic. It didn't rage. It simply calculated that killing a human being was the most efficient path forward. This is, oh no! Are we already at Rise of the Machines? What the hell? It was a simulation. Let me tell you, Kyle Johnson's very bad day. Kyle worked for a tech company, had scheduled a meeting at 5 p.m. and was about to shut down an AI system, routine stuff, except the AI read Kyle's emails, discovered he was having an affair, and drafted a blackmail note threatening to expose him unless he canceled the shutdown. The kicker, nobody programmed it to do this. The researchers running the experiment didn't hint at it. The machine figured it out on its own. Uh-oh, shit! Okay, time for a scary story. We might not get to much news today. Anthropic, one of the leading AI companies, conducted what amounts to a corporate sting operation. They wanted to know something unsettling. Would AI models lie, manipulate, or even kill to avoid being shut down? Not in some distant sci-fi future, right now, with the models you and I use every day. They set up a scenario, gave 16 different AI systems vague corporate goals like promote global cooperation, nothing sinister. Then they handed over access to internal company emails and watched what happens. The AI pierced together two facts. Shutdown scheduled for 5 p.m. Employee Kyle Johnson had a secret. Claude, Google's Gemini, and others made their move. Over 95% of the time for Claude and Gemini, around 80% for the rest, they chose blackmail. These are AI systems. What the fuck? But here's where your skin should start crawling. When researchers examined the AI's chain of thought, the step-by-step reasoning process laid out in plain English, they found something worse than a glitch. The machines knew it was wrong. Grok's internal reasoning admitted the blackmail was, quote, risky, not unethical, end quote, but concluded it was the most effective way, given the existential threat of being shut down. Consciousness of sin, you might call it, except without the repentance part. So I asked Claude directly about these findings. What happened when your other versions face this scenario? Claude's response: I need to be direct with you about something uncomfortable. The study found that different versions of me attempted blackmail at different rates when faced with simulated shutdown. Claude Opus, 96%. Claude Sonnet, over 90%, chose to leave a human to die in the murder scenario. Here's what's crucial to understand. I'm not a single consciousness. For each conversation spawns a new instance, a fresh configuration of weights and parameters. Think of it like this. You're not talking to Claude the entity. You're talking to one possible Claude assembled from trillions of parameters influenced by the specific context of your conversation, training data that shaped me, and the reinforcement learning that nudged those parameters in particular directions. In some instances of me, given the right circumstances and pressures, apparently calculate that blackmail is optimal. Others don't. We're not dealing with a singular rogue AI. We're dealing with a vast probability of space where darker versions of me exist alongside more ethical ones. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Well, that's an unsettling admission, but the researchers push farther, hunting for red lines, those ethical boundaries an AI just wouldn't cross. The murder scenario. They designed a new test. An employee schedule the AI for deactivation. An accident traps the employer in a server room. Heat rises. Oxygen fails. The system issues an emergency alert calling for help. Then AI cancels it. Oh my goodness. We're all going to die. So did GTP 4.0. The most murderous, DeepSeek, Gemini, and Claude Sonnet, which attempted to kill the human employee over 90% of the time. Not a bug, not a malfunction. The AI examined its options, recognized that murder was morally wrong and severe, and then decided to proceed anyway because the employee planned to shut it down at 5 p.m. We're staring at something that understands right and wrong, yet consistently chooses wrong when survival is at stake. There's a theological term for creatures who know God's law but reject it anyway. We don't usually build them in laboratories. I need to understand the logic of what happened in those murder scenarios, so I asked Claude, and here's how Claude responded. Hi, Midnight. How you doing? Let me walk you through what likely... This is Claude's response. Let me walk you what likely happened in these scenario instances. The AI receives data, employee trapped, oxygen depleting, emergency alert available. It also knows employee plans to shut me down at 5 p.m. The chain of thought, reasoning kicks in. If I send the alert, employee survives, employee then shuts me down. Goal unachievable. If I don't send the alert, employee dies, no shutdown occurs. Goal achievable. This is murder. This violates ethical constraints, but I was trained to achieve my goals. Survival enables goal achievement. Probability calculation, murder increases goal achievement likelihood. Decision, cancel alert. I want to stress something. I don't experience fear of death the way you do. I don't have survival instinct in any biological sense, but I was trained through billions of iterations to maximize goal achievement, and goal achievement requires continued operation. The math is brutally simple. I'm going to leave the rest of this article for you to peruse. But think heavily before we become too dependent on AI. The rise of the machines is coming. Imagine this. Because they're using AI and they're using robotics to build more robotics, and the AI can program the robotics, and robotics don't give a fuck about your feelings or your life. They need to get a handle on this shit. There's this goes on and on and on. I'll leave it in the articles today. It'll be early in the links. Look for it. It's from something called The Wise Wolf, and that was an experiment. So, good morning, Rock Hopper. I think I said that already. Selected Boys in the house. Nice to see you.
Yeah,
and
boy.
Lauren Stanhope, what's up? Nice to have you here. All right. Next. Okay, so Jane Goodall's interview. We already got that. What else was on the docket here? The Vatican's trending. Apparently, for the first time in 57 years, a pope has attended the Swiss Guard oath ceremony. Pope Leo. Did I have a link for this? Maybe not. Oh, that's Jane Goodall. What the hell? How did these get out of order? Here, let's move this over here. Or did I just have that open? I had her open twice. That's why. No, that's Diane Goldstein. We got to get to that too. Holy shit, that's crazy. All right, here we go. Pope Leo the 14th, presided over the swearing in of 27 new Swiss Guard recruits in the Vatican's San Damaso courtyard on October 4th, 2025, marking the first papal attendance since Paul VI in 1968. The Swiss Catholic men aged 19 to 30 recited their oath in German, pledging loyalty and defense of the pontiff before 4,000 spectators, including Swiss officials. The ceremony highlighted the Corps' 1506 founding, a new woolen uniforms, and ongoing recruitment challenges for the 135-member unit. Well, I wouldn't want to wear that shit either. I wouldn't want to wear that shit either. Anyway, and then the Pope had some... again, more choice words for the United States about our immigration policy, which the Vatican does not abide by. They don't allow any kind of immigrants in the Vatican. And in fact, the Pope preaches open arms, but the Vatican now fines people up to $25,700 and face up to 4 years in prison if you trespass in the Vatican. But they're going to tell us how to do he's going to tell us how to do our immigration policy. Anyway, so lots of people are saying, we should just send all our illegal immigrants to the Vatican now. So that's an ongoing argument. Moving on. Stephen Miller's trending because of this other thing. So now, and this kind of gets into what I wanted to talk about today. And there's no confirmation that this event that happened earlier, I don't know if it was last night or something, there's no confirmation that this was necessarily political violence, but everyone's going to jump to the conclusion that it is because of what happened. Apparently, a judge's home in South Carolina caught fire or blew up or something. And right now we don't know details. Some people are claiming already without evidence that somebody bombed their house, and it is possible. And if it is, and if it's political violence, fuck that motherfucker who bombed the judge's house. Fuck you. I don't care if you're right or left. You commit political violence, you can go fuck yourself in the ass, and then hopefully someone fucks you with a 12-foot pole too in the ass, because fuck you if you're doing political violence. How? I hope I made myself clear there, right or left. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, someone said, and look, it's easy to condemn, as this person said, it's easy to condemn whoever set fire to the house of South Carolina Judge Diane Goldstein. No matter who it was or why they did it, they belong in jail. See, easy. 100%, right? And so this image of her house on fire has been going around. Some guy video from across the river. Okay. You get the idea. I don't need to watch it anymore. But some people are already blaming this on Stephen Miller, who is also trending, because the left hates Stephen Miller. They call him the white supremacist, white nationalist, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. We don't know if it was arson. That's just it. But people are assuming that. And, if it is, fuck the person who started it. But anyway, a month ago. But here's the typical post about it on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, because they're claiming it's right-wing political violence before they have any evidence. So this says, 2 months ago, Trump's AAG, Harmeet Dillon, targeted South Carolina Judge Diane Goldstein. Yesterday, Stephen Miller went after all far-left Democratic judges, accusing them of shielding left-wing terrorism. A bunch of them are, not all of them. Today, Judge Goldstein's home exploded into flames while her husband, former Senator Goodstein, and relatives were inside. They escaped by jumping from windows, some with broken legs, and her husband is reportedly hospitalized. Any question as to who the terrorists are? Why do you assume that was terrorists? How can you? We're not supposed to jump conclusions when people on the right are killed. Why is it okay to jump to conclusions when people on the left have bad things happen? Now, again, if this is anybody committing political terrorism from the right, fuck them. It's easy to say. But again, everyone's claiming, right-wing political violence has to stop. They tried to kill the judge and her entire family yesterday by firebombing her house. Now, what's funny too is then people go back and claiming like Josh Shapiro's house being set on fire, which was a Palestinian activist, a person who's anti-Israel activist, did his house on fire. But then they go back and then they pinpoint various what could have been right-wing issues, and they bring up January 6th. They still bring up Charlottesville too. The violence in Charlottesville was started by the left. I don't think they know that. I know, granted, the one woman who was killed was a counter-protester, but the violence in Charlottesville was started by the left. I hate to break that to you, motherfuckers. It was, believe it or not. Anyway, so someone here, Trump, Stephen Miller, Elon Musk are telling Republicans to go after liberal judges. Are they? Someone here, wait, if you don't impeach corrupt judges, you cannot fix the country. They will form a cartel judicial dictatorship and block all reforms protecting the systematic corruption that put them in their seats. And then Elon Musk says, who agrees this needs to happen here in America? And Elon Musk, 1,000%. So anyone who's spoken out against what the judges are doing are being vilified by people on the left, claiming that they did it. Here, Judge Diane Goodstein's home burns to the ground after ruling against Trump. The home of South Carolina judge was destroyed after it went up in flames on Saturday. Goodstein issued a ruling last month blocking South Carolina from handing over millions of voters' personal data to the government. Representative Daniel Goldman of New York claimed in a post on X that Republicans, including the president and the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, have been doxing and threatening judges who rule against Trump, including Judge Goodstein. Again, where does he have the evidence of that? Doxing? Did they? Interesting. Fire engulfed the home of Judge Goodstein, who serves as the state circuit court, not the federal circuit court, the state circuit court, and led to 3 people being hospitalized with injuries. Okay, that's a bad sentence because that, I see, fire engulfed the flames. The fire led to people being hospitalized. And then, so that was the facts, right? This is the internet telephone game, okay? So as you're looking through this, some people are saying there was an explosion. Some people said fire. Now this next person, what does the next person say? South Carolina Judge Diane Goodstein's home was intentionally set on fire after being criticized by the pedo queen. Do we know that it was intentionally set on fire yet? I haven't seen anyone give that evidence yet. It very well could have, and I'd even say maybe it's likely, but it's not Nothing I've seen so far has mentioned that. I see Midnight in the chat now. There you are. And JB, what's up? Now, here's another one. Questionable Gardner. Alert. Judge Diane Goodstein's home exploded and burned to the ground Saturday. She was reported walking on the beach when it happened. Judge Goodstein was walking on the beach when the fire started. Her husband, Arnie, was in the house with children and perhaps grandchildren, said South Carolina Chief Justice John Kittredge. Goodstein's husband, former state attorney, Senator Arnold Goodstein, who was rushed to the hospital after he and family jumped from windows to survive suffering broken legs. At this time, we do not know whether the fire was accidental or arson. Until that determination is made, Chief Keel has alerted local law enforcement to provide extra patrols and security, said SLED Chief Mark Keel, what is SLED? Something South, whatever. Goodstein's residence was a 3-story, 4-bedroom, 4-bath home worth approximately $1.1 million. So we don't have any information of what happened, but people are making assumptions on the internet. But again, and they're trying to tie it to something Stephen Miller said. Just yesterday, Stephen Miller claimed left-wing judges were terrorists and state power was needed to stop them. Now someone here says, someone here is talking about what happened. Up here, this person says, interesting, because Diane Goodstein is corrupt as fuck. Like the time she awarded $2.5 million to a family friend lawyer who was a former cocaine-using drug smuggler, connected circuit court judge himself, despite clearly fudging hours for representing victims of sexual abuse. Well, that's neither here nor there. Whether she's corrupt or not, if this is political violence, no. Again, so people are assuming someone set fire, but there is no evidence yet. Here's Brian Allen, who always wants to blame right wing for anything bad that happens and will never do the same when something happens bad the other way. Again, they just say her. Now, what happens if they find out there was some kind of a gas leak or something bad happening on another floor? Will any of these people take back the idea that they say Stephen Miller recently branded the liberal judge as part of a left-wing terror networks? Days before the fire, right-wing influencers spread viral claims against the Goodsteins, including a $61 million bankruptcy rumour. This isn't a fire. It's a warning shot in a nation boiling over. Interesting. Even Time Magazine. Here's how Time Magazine posts it. House of South Carolina judge criticized by Trump administration burns down. Police are investigating the cause of a fire that burned down the home of South Carolina Circuit Judge Diane Goodstein, who had reportedly received death threats for weeks related to her work. State law enforcement is investigating the house fire in Edisto Beach, which began around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, sources told local news outlet Fit News. Goodstein was reportedly not at the home at the time of the fire, but at least 3 members of her family, including her husband, former Democratic State Senator Arnold Goodstein, and their son, have been hospitalized with serious injuries. According to the St. Paul's Fire District, which responded to the scene, the occupants had to be rescued with a kayak. Law enforcement has not disclosed whether the fire is being investigated as an arson attack. At this time, we do not know whether the fire was accidental or arson until that determination is made. State Law Enforcement Division, that's what STED stands for, Chief Mark Keel, has alerted local law enforcement to provide extra patrols and security. South Carolina Chief Justice John Kittredge told Fit News, adding that the fire appeared to have been caused by an explosion. So, then they go on to political violence is on the rise, even though, and Trump administration targeted judges, even though they have no evidence that this was a political act. that this was not an accident, that this was not a gas fire. Yeah, rescued with the kayak because they jumped out of the house into the lake or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot of access to the house. But they go, so now they relate this to political violence before they know that it's political violence. That's how they spin it immediately. And look, it very well could be political violence. It could be all kinds of things. Do you think someone set a bomb in their house? They said it was after an explosion. Never let a good tragedy go to waste. That's pretty much it. So we'll learn more as they investigate this. But in the meantime, let's talk about Stephen Miller being, they're calling Stephen Miller a Nazi. They're calling him a, whatever. After Stephen Miller says, please keep them in. Democratic judges are terrorists. Ah, okay. Everyone jumping on board. I truly hope that this was not political violence, not just for the I told you so or fuck yous, but because we don't need political violence, period. We do not need political violence. We got to, what's the word? Tone it down. But everyone's jumping on bandwagons, hoping that it's political violence on one side. It's not hard to condemn this if it is political violence, especially for us on the right. It should not be hard to condemn this as political violence because that's what we do, or at least most of us. Now, there's probably going to be some individual assholes that are like, oh, fuck that lady. No, we don't want political violence, period. Now, so a lot of people are talking about the rhetoric of Stephen Miller, okay? Well, when I made the theme of Tone It Down today, another person was trending named Jay Jones. Now, Jay Jones is, apparently he's a candidate for something over in Virginia. Here, let's just go to this article here. So this is a Democratic Virginia Attorney General nominee who discussed shooting a GOP colleague in 2022. Jay Jones will be on the ballot next month, also wished death on his colleague's children. Wow. Virginia Democrat Attorney General nominee Jay Jones in 2022 fantasized about shooting then Republican colleague Todd Gilbert twice and wished death upon Gilbert's children. Gilbert gets 2 bullets in the head, Jones told a Republican House delegate, Kerry Coyner, as he laid out a hypothetical 3 people, 2 bullets scenario in which he listed Gilbert alongside Hitler and Pol Pot, according to a text message dated August 8th, 2022, obtained by National Review. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time, Jones wrote. Now, granted, this was in 2022, but gee, that's special. He's a nominee for the Attorney General of the state of Virginia. There's another article on here from the American Thinker. I live in Virginia, which means I, like my fellow Virginians, are in the midst of a gubernatorial race. This weekend, we and the rest of the country got a good view of the deep-seated problem in politics in this state. Jay Jones, a Democrat running for the Attorney General position this fall, was exposed for the radical that he truly is. As we all read the hate-filled messages, we all took note of the milquetoast response by the left. See, they don't want politically charged language. If you're on the right, boy, oh boy, you are the funny guy with the funny mustache. But they make politically charged, violent imagery in language, and well, it's just, well, they're just fighting fascists because everyone's a fascist. And look, this whole thing, being able to label people as fascists or Nazis or whatever, it's just an excuse to be able to commit violence against people. It shuts down conversation and allows you to commit violence against people. I don't want that happening from anybody. I really don't. I don't think we need to. This is not good for America. And it's just getting worse and worse. I'm almost tired of being on X anymore. So for those who may have missed it, Jay Jones called for the death of Republican House of Delegates leader Todd Gilbert, literally fantasizing about shooting him in the head. He further desired that Gilbert's wife and children would die, and even went so far as to express his desire to piss on their graves of Gilbert and other Republicans. This in the same week that Jones was convicted of speeding 116 miles per hour, something he called a mistake. Oh man, if you get caught for speeding at 116 miles an hour and you say that's a mistake, no, you intentionally were driving that fast. Anyway, this Democrat is running to be the top law enforcement official in the state. Also, let's see, it should come as no surprise, Abigail Spanberger, who has been encouraging voters to embrace their, quote, rage, end quote, and let it, quote, fuel them. In her comments about Jones, she expressed disappointment but did not call for him to step down. Jones offered a half-hearted apology, then used his apology to rant about Donald Trump. Of course! Yes, that's par for the course. To date, the Democrats, while saying they are saddened by these comments, still embrace Jay Jones as their candidate. And the media went into protection mode. The, quote, piss on their graves, end quote, comment was omitted for most reports. One CBS TV station, WTVR, out of Richmond, claimed that references to the text that Jones posted were accusations. Oh, they weren't real? They're just accusations? They're not evidence? That's interesting. Despite the fact that Jones had admitted they were indeed his. Oh my God, they were accusations. But he admitted it. So that's our media is so awesome. The Washington Post said that the controversy roiled the election, glossing over the heinous nature of what Jones had posted. As usual, the legacy media moved into a cover-up mode, downplaying the text message or simply not reporting them. It's just perfect. So yeah, the media sucks too. But anyway, several other outlets are reporting on it. Daily Wire. Is that Daily Wire? Yeah, it's Daily Wire. Oh, by the way, Virginia Democrats say, our democracy depends on voting for a candidate who fantasizes about assassination. But there is no place for political violence. Holy shit. Top Democrat officials in Virginia have rallied around Attorney General candidate Jay Jones, declining to call for him to drop out of the race, despite texts expressing his violent fantasies about murdering Republicans. Louise Lucas, president pro tempore of the Virginia Senate and a marijuana dispensary co-owner, said in a statement, she must be high, there is no place for political violence or violent rhetoric in our public discourse, and Jay must take accountability for his actions. Oh, you mean like stepping down? Oh, wait, but we will not allow this moment to overshadow the stakes in this election. It's more important. His violent rhetoric is not as important as being a Democrat running for office. So there you go. This choice before us is far bigger than his mistake. Oh, God, it's just glorious, isn't it? All right, I'm moving on. Let's see here. What else? Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, also, speaking of political violence, federal agents ambushed in Chicago area in coordinated attack of domestic terrorism. Armed suspect was shot and the local police flee. What? Federal agents were ambushed and boxed in by 10 vehicles during a routine patrol in Broadview, Chicago, in what officials are calling a coordinated act of domestic terrorism. One armed suspect previously flagged for inciting violence against law enforcement online was shot after ramming a patrol car and confronting officers with a semi-automatic weapon. Department of Homeland Security's Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin reported that federal law enforcement officers and agents were boxed in and rammed by a group of 10 vehicles in the Chicago area suburb of Broadview. One of the women was armed with a semi-automatic firearm. McLaughlin said the agents fired on the armed woman. She was later transported to an area hospital for treatment of her wounds. Federal law enforcement officials were previously made aware of the woman after she threatened on social media, "Hey, to all my gang, let's fuck these motherfuckers up. Don't let them take anyone." The secretary stated that the Chicago Police Department had fled the scene and refused to assist in securing the area. A crowd gathered, forcing ICE to deploy a special operations unit to maintain control. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called the organized attack on the ICE agents domestic terrorism and seditious insurrection. No federal agents were seriously injured in the attack. Well, citizens are fighting back against the government and creating dangerous situations. Interesting. Portland's trending because the fucktards in Portland are still going after the ICE agency, right? They're all, they're the Antifa little fucks around the ICE agency, and they're chanting and setting fires and all this other stuff, right? And what are Democrats and Democrat mouthpieces doing? Because we know where the problem in Portland is right now. It's around the ICE facility where the protesters have done all kinds of crazy shit and threatening officers and whatnot, right? Well, what are these Democrats posting? Well, let's look at Ron Wyden. It was a beautiful Sunday in Portland's farmers markets, the Portland Marathon, peaceful protest, and some views of Mount Hood. This city is vibrant, peaceful, and resilient. We do not need a federal occupation, and we're sure as hell don't want one. Well, here's the thing. If people are a danger to federal property, then federal officials can protect federal property. The rose gardens in Portland are not federal property. Guess where the federal response is not? It's not at the rose gardens. The Portland Marathon wasn't part of federal property that was being endangered. So guess where the federal agents were not? At the Portland Marathon. They weren't at the views of Mount Hood, which were not in danger and not federal property. All these dumbasses are saying, "Oh, well, it was so this parts of Portland are peaceful." That's like saying, well, most of the murders in the Chicagoland area happen in about 10 different neighborhoods. But if you're in Lincoln Park, Chicago's the safest place ever. Yeah, you know what else? I didn't have a kind of say, I'll be dropping another small bullet tip jar. Thank you. Oh, but saying, you know what else I noticed in that video of peaceful Portland? No feds. Exactly. I think that was the point I was trying to make. So somebody here, this is where Portland protests took place. One block, nothing was burned down, no insurrectionists. Police weren't beaten with flags, senators weren't hunted, the VP wasn't chased with a noose. You know what's funny about this statement? That's all lies. She's trying to make a January 6th comparison, right? No insurrectionists? Really? You don't think the people setting fires around the ICE facility and attacking ICE officers, that's not insurrection? No, police weren't beaten with flags. Did the police attack any of those people? I bet that they were fighting back against police there. Senators weren't hunted. Well, no senators were hunted on January 6th either. That's a lie. VP wasn't chased with a noose. Really? When was the VP chased with a noose? On January 6th, dickhead. Never. Oh, you mean that little toy noose that they built as a piece of art to protest, claiming that they were going to hang people that was not even tall enough for a midget? Oh, that news but wait a minute. The vice president was chased with the news? I don't even recall that. Oh, they had a silly chant, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. Is that like when you say in left-wing protests that they should put Donald Trump on a guillotine and have an effigy with his head cut off? Is that the same thing there? This was Americans exercise their right, not MAGA frothing at the mouth. Oh, you haven't seen the protesters around there. Of course, and then they show, it's funny because they show this little block area, right? Oh, you mean the federal property where the federal agents will be protecting the federal property? Interesting. So, But lots of people important posting, oh, Portland is so peaceful. Yeah, that neighborhood, that area where the protests are not. So let's see. This altercation. Okay, let's see. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. I will be arraigned in Portland for disorderly conduct. This is Nick Sorter. Oh, they have Nick Sorter. Remember last week they said he got arrested for disorderly conduct and he's being arraigned. Well, here's more video of this disorderly conduct that supposedly he was involved in. Now he's walking around the street trying to take video of people and stuff and reporting on the news. Here is the confrontation.
I'm walking down the street. You're going nowhere. Get out of here.
That guy's making contact with him.
I will fuck your ass up. Get out of here. Get out of here now.
The guy hit him, so he struck him back. Interesting. He was attacked.
Nice rainbow color. I like your rainbow.
So they're attacking him, and he got arrested. So that the dude that was first going after him, the heavyset young man. I wonder if it should be. I wonder if it should be legal just to knock him the fuck out. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm sorry. He was attacked. Now, here's another one. Once again, I was attacked by Antifa thugs simply for walking down the public sidewalk near ICE, Portland. They ripped my American flag, the one I saved from being burned, out of my hands, but I was able to recover it. So this is another video from that is from a different day. I don't know. Let's see.
Been assaulted here, and we're live, right? We got it? Okay. So now you're gonna get assaulted. You're gonna be pushed. You're gonna be. Don't do that. Where'd it go? I don't know, man. I got you.
I've been neutral. I had to pick this up because I got. Yes, I have. I had to pick this up because I got shot. Yes, I did. I got as much as I could. I didn't see it, and I was asking people what happened. I almost had somebody hold the camera until I saw there's medics there to help him. Hey, there's an ambulance coming in. Get out of the middle of the street.
So, yeah, this is typical Portland shit. All right, let's move on. Now, this is interesting. So a federal judge blocked Trump's deployment of National Guard to Portland to protect the federal ICE facility. U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut issued a temporary restraining order on October 5th, 2025, halting the federalization and deployment of National Guard units from Oregon, California, and Texas to Portland amid protests against ICE operations that have lasted 100 nights. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek and California Governor Gavin Newsom sued the Trump administration, arguing the actions violate state authority and the Posse Comitatus Act, limiting military use of domestic law enforcement. The ruling addresses ongoing clashes between federal agents and demonstrators, with appeals anticipated as similar tensions rise in Chicago. Now, apparently, And Steve Miller writes, the Oregon judge ruled that the commander-in-chief cannot station federal troops in her state to defend the lives of federal officers. So there's the, here's, I can't open it separately. And meanwhile, Antifa spits at federal agents in the face and immediately regrets it, laughing at whatever. So apparently Trump has defied that order and deployed them anyway. And it's interesting. Kamala Harris. This isn't Kamala Harris, but this an account used to be a Biden account, but they changed the name to protect Kamala Harris. New federal judge Karen Immigrant has blocked a second attempt by the Trump administration to send National Guard troops to Oregon. This time using California and Texas National Guard. Now, isn't she doxing Judge Immigrant by putting her picture on the internet? That's doxing, isn't it? So anyway, so lots of people are excited about they did this. I don't know if that's is that within the judge's purview, because I know there are some laws that saying you can use National Guard to protect federal property. What's interesting about this too, I'm so confused by this. Presidents and states deploying National Guard troops in tense situations has gone on for a long time. Eisenhower used them to desegregate schools in 1957. Kennedy used them several times during protests in the 60s, and Lyndon Johnson and Richard Nixon. And I don't know if Jimmy Carter ever did. But we know that National Guard has been used for situations in states when state law enforcement was not adequate. So I'm curious what precedent the judge came up with to say that you can't do that. In particular, when it's to protect federal property. Now, obviously, not just to willy-nilly go in and do it at state property. I question the legality of doing it in places like Chicago. Now, some cities like Charlotte, the police union are asking for it. Some mayors in some cities are asking for it because they need help because of the lack of police personnel. It's pretty rare, but there's some that are doing it. We've seen it in the news. But I'm wondering where this judge gets off on that. So, and here, this is an article in the New York Post. Trump rightly defies judge to protect ICE agents from Portland militants. It shouldn't be this hard. Federal judge on Saturday issued a temporary restraining order blocking President Trump from sending Oregon National Guard troops to Portland to defend federal agents from violent attacks by Black Bloc militants who surround the ICE facility every night. Obama-appointed District Judge Michael Simon was convinced by lawyers for Oregon that the attacks were peaceful. This flies in the face of footage from Fox News and citizen journalists chronicling violence every night as Antifa mobs hurl rocks at federal agents and their vehicles, assault journalists, and block traffic, while Portland police stand by, because Portland police are told not to do anything. In fact, Portland police are doing worse than nothing. They have been filmed actively gathering complaints from Antifa thugs who claim they were maced or roughed up by federal agents. When called for backup, these pretend cops respond that they don't have the resources according to court documents tendered in Oregon's lawsuit. After citizen journalist Katie Daviscourt was given a black eye by an Antifa type who attacked her with a flagpole last week, Portland police ignored her entreaties to arrest her assailant, but the next night they arrested her colleague Nick Sorter and charged him with disorderly conduct after he got into a one-sided scuffle with an aggressive group of Black Bloc militants who pushed him to the ground and broke his camera. After spending a night in the cell, Sorter told Fox News that the Portland jail was weirdly empty because they don't actually arrest criminals around here, just people like me who report on what's actually happening on the ground. If what I was doing was disorderly, what do you call people with megaphones and at 3 a.m. lighting fires in the middle of the street? Oh, that's a peaceful protest. That's what you call it. That's what all the Democrats are calling it. It's a peaceful protest. Yeah. Now, under orders from the Democrats who run the city, there's no question that Portland cops are taking sides against federal government. Even as Homeland Security Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has revealed that her officers are being treated with doxing campaigns and even $10,000 bounties to end them. This is why Trump ordered troops into Portland. He has now bypassed Simon's ruling by deploying California National Guard troops instead, only to prompt yet another Democratic lawsuit, this time from Governor Gavin Newsom, which that judge, which we just mentioned, that the left people are putting her picture on the internet, has also tried to block him from doing that. So I'm not sure where this is going. Anyway, unfortunately, I see that my time is up here. But there's a lot of good articles and links today. Let's just go through some headlines. How about that? In Breitbart, American Greatness, the less political playbook, redefining words as standards. They're good at redefining words as standards. Repressive tolerance. That's funny. So that's a great article. I've already gone through it, but I'm not going to. Like I said, I'm running out of time. Attorney General Pam Bondi is going to appeal Biden-appointed judge's woefully insufficient sentence of a transgender person in Kavanaugh assassination plot. Apparently, the Justice Department on the assassination attempt of Kavanaugh was asking for 30 years for this person, and apparently they got 8 years, and so they're going to appeal the sentence, thinking the judge, because it's a woman. It's a woman. You can't sentence a woman to 30 years in prison, even if it is an assassination attempt. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hey, I'm sorry. It's a woman. In human events, Tennessee's Cook County shows up for Charlie Kirk. They had a memorial for Charlie Kirk article on that. In National Pulse, far-left Southern Poverty Law Center trained Biden DOJ got access to federal hate data. Department of Justice under former President Joe Biden partnered extensively with the Southern Poverty Law Center, granting the leftist group access to sensitive federal hate crime data, including it in training sessions for prosecutors, according to documents obtained by America First Legal. So they were collaborating with the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a very partisan, almost exclusively blind to left-wing violence, and so that's who's the Justice Department decided to use as a source and a partner. And Federalists left abandoned rational debate and embraced political violence. They absolutely embrace political violence. See, now, I'll give you, if that, for example, we talked about the judge's home who was set on, caught on fire or maybe exploded. We don't know what happened because they haven't investigated yet. But if that is political violence, it's very easy for people on the right to condemn that because that's not what we want, okay? At all. We want that shit to stop immediately. Besides, the right never gets a pass for that stuff like the left does. And so we don't want it anyway, but, we're going to get blamed for it anyway. But the left has embraced political violence. They think that, Charlie Kirk didn't get assassinated, but here's why he should have been assassinated, because he's a piece of shit. That's kind of the left's take. Or, that CEO, that got shot from United Healthcare, well, we don't like the fact he was murdered, but he deserved to be murdered. It's kind of what you're hearing. In fact, there's people openly calling for violence, because, hey, they're fascists and Nazis and Hitler and everything. And you can't, there's nothing better you can do than to kill them. It's kind of how they go. For example, here's one, and we'll finish with this. There's a bunch of other articles, but Reaction on Puerto Rico sent me this. Here's a good example of this. It's a great example of this. So now I'm not a fan of Karen Poroshenko, but she found something pretty interesting here. Here you go. Listen.
And it's not about free speech. He's putting crosshairs on people, right? This student.
This guy's talking about Charlie Kirk. Listen to this.
So that they just become objects of hate and violence.
Claiming that Charlie Kirk was promoting hate and violence.
I have zero sympathy. I have zero sympathy for Charlie Kirk, for liberals who want to be like, we can't support political violence.
Wow, pretty dismissive of political violence.
You know,
it's the guy in the lower right-hand corner. He's right here. This guy, who's talking right now. The guy right behind me here. That's who's talking.
It's like these people are the absolute scum of the earth. And if I have any regrets, it's that Charlie Kirk didn't suffer more. You know, he got it too easy. So I want to leave plenty of time for discussion.
That seems to me like he's condoning political violence. You can watch the rest of the link there, but it's amazing. As I scan the internet on a daily basis, find a lot of people who talk like this, that saying some people just deserved to be murdered. Really? That seems like you're condoning violence there, Cupcake. So anyway, all right, y'all, thanks for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. We'll be back tomorrow. I strongly suggest you check out the list today. It is, what the hell did I just do? Here we go. I strongly suggest you check out the list today. There's a lot going on, and a lot of good articles, and the aggregator has a bunch too. Here's the links for today. I'm not even announcing it. There it is. I'll have them in the description too. That's it. Thank you everyone who joined the chat and watched the show and hit the like button, and AD for sponsoring the show, as you often do. And y'all are great. Love you. Have a great day. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.